The sound of crying pierced the air, not from one baby, but two. The babies cried. Their mother too cried. A young woman, barely in her 20s, stood outside a grand mansion, and her babies in her arms, begging for mercy. But the doors had closed. Her fate was sealed. And she was thrown out that night. What was her crime? She gave birth to twin girls instead of a male heir. Yet no one knew. That one day, those tears would become a river of testimonies. When her daughters became billionaires. "Please, Chief. Don't do this." For the sake of the children, she cried and begged, standing carrying her twin babies in her arms. But Chief Edmund's face remained hard like stone. "Leave this house, Stella. I warned you, female children are of no use to me." And with that, the door slammed shut and she left with no place to call home. Stella, a poor orphan, had been working in Chief Edmund's mansion for over 5 years. Though she was just a house help, she served with loyalty and gratitude. Stella was different. Quiet, kind, and respectful, her humility caught everyone's attention. She never raised her voice. Never stole. Never gossiped. Madame Gloria, Chief Edmund's wife, a fashion entrepreneur, grew fond of her. "Stella, you're like a younger sister to me," she would often say. But Chief Edmund, however, barely noticed her until pressure came. Chief Edmund was a wealthy man in the city, owning several business ventures, and landlord to many rental buildings. But one thing tormented him deeply: he had no son. Married to Gloria for 10 years, their marriage produced only daughters. But Chief wanted a male heir to carry on the name, the empire, the legacy. Unfortunately, due to complications during Madame Gloria's last pregnancy, the doctor advised them not to fall pregnant again as that would be fatal. Though their 3 daughters were all brilliant, beautiful, and well-mannered, but in his world of egotistical business tycoons and tribal elders, a man with no male heir was mocked. "Chief, what are your plans to solve this problem of your wife not giving you a son that will carry your name?" his friends often taunted over whiskey, jokingly. And gradually, those words began to rot his heart. Chief Edmund began to lose sleep over the thought of not having a son. And pressure began to build. One evening, Chief called Stella into his private lounge. "Stella," he began, swirling his drink. "I need a favor. I need your help." Stella, startled, replied, "Sir? What kind of help?" "I need a male child. Give me one and I'll make you my second wife. You'll never lack anything." Stella was shocked. "Sir, I can't. Madame Gloria has been kind to me. I cannot betray her." Chief nodded with a forced smile, but inside, he burned with rage. An orphan girl rejected him? That night, he told Gloria his plan. "My love, Stella can give us a son. She's healthy." But she refused my offer. To his shock, Gloria, out of desperation to save her marriage, agreed to speak to Stella. Surprisingly, the next day, it was Gloria who approached Stella. "I know my husband spoke to you. I begged him to. Stella, I'm desperate. I don't care if the child comes from my womb or not. I just want him to stop looking at me with regret." Tears formed in Stella's eyes. "But what if I don't give birth to a boy, what happens?" Gloria held her hands. "Then we raise the child together. Like sisters. Like mothers. Against her instincts, reluctantly Stella accepted. A few months later Stella became pregnant. The pregnancy brought joy to Chief Edmund's household. Stella was pampered and treated like royalty. The house called her Madam Stella. Chief Edmund ensured she had the best food, antenatal care, and comfort. But on delivery day, fate played her card. "Congratulations," the doctor announced. "You've had beautiful twin girls." Stella, with Madame Gloria sitting beside her, received the twin baby girls. Chief Edmund's face darkened instantly when he found out she gave birth to girls. "Girls? 2 useless girls," he barked. Despite Stella and Madame Gloria's attempts to calm him, the rejection began. He stopped speaking to Stella. He stopped going close to her. And within weeks, his mind was made. "Leave this house. You and those girls have no place here." "But sir, I have no family. No home. The babies are just days old." "I don't care. You and your crying girls can sleep under the bridge." "Please, sir. Don't do this." For the sake of the children, she cried and begged. But Chief Edmund's face remained hard like stone. "Leave this house, Stella. I warned you, female children are of no use to me." And with that, the door slammed shut and she left with no place to call home. Even Gloria's pleas were silenced with a threat. "Speak again, and I'll send you packing too." That night, Stella was thrown out, into the street, into the cold, into destiny. She found shelter in an abandoned shop downtown. Rain leaked through holes in the roof, and cold nights almost froze the newborns. The girls, Mary and Martha, cried all through the night. The following morning, she carried loads in markets with the babies in her arms, just to get anything to buy them baby food. She was a strong young woman, who shunned begging but was determined to work for survival and that of her babies. Stella hustled. She cleaned shops and offices for daily bread. Hawked sachet water, popularly known as pure water, just to buy baby milk. Some people had sympathy on her and gave her money without allowing her work for the sake of the babies. While many others frowned at her, calling her names and even whispering that she was wayward to have given birth without knowing who the father of her babies was. She endured all that and continued doing her best to stay strong for her little babies. Each night, she would cry unto God asking for divine help. It was so tough that sometimes she goes to sleep on an empty stomach as long as her girls had something to eat. One day came an angel. Gloria, feeling guilty, secretly searched for her and the babies. And she began to visit Stella from time to time. She brought food, baby clothes, and diapers. "I can't let you suffer for something we both agreed on," Gloria whispered during one night visit. "You do not deserve to suffer all this for your kindness. Just keep holding on. I will move you to a better place once I find one." She promised. But the day Madame Gloria got a place for Stella and the babies, Stella was already gone to another location closer to a market where she hustled daily to feed her children, which was far away from Chief Edmund and his family. Madame Gloria was heartbroken when she did not find Stella anywhere around. She desperately wanted to help her in order to silence the guilt that she carried, and that was how she lost contact with Stella. As the years passed, Mary and Martha grew under the scorching sun of hardship, but they were brilliant. Stella used her last strength to send them to school. She raised the twins, Mary and Martha, with strength, dignity, and unmatched motherly sacrifice. She couldn't afford toys, so she told them stories. She couldn't buy new clothes, so she stitched old ones. She couldn't promise luxury, but she gave them love. The girls grew intelligent, focused, and obedient. They performed very well in school. At their secondary school graduation, they emerged top in the entire district. But Stella cried that night. "God, you answered me and they have passed with very good grades, but I can't afford their JAM application form. And even if I could, how will I fund their university?" That night Mary and Martha overheard their mother crying and praying to God. The twins also joined their mother hawking pure water in the market just to raise enough money to purchase jam form. Many whispered and could not believe when they saw the twin sisters helping their mother to hawk pure water in the market. Other girls would rather prefer to do otherwise for money, but they never did and focused on earning something in a right way. Mr. Jacob, a quiet, kind-hearted man who ran a local pharmacy, had observed Stella over the years. She had worked as his cleaner part-time. When he saw the twins hawking to support their mother in order to raise money for their JAM exams application forms, he was touched. And upon hearing about her twin daughters' brilliance, and their excellent performance and high-level school results, he made a quiet decision. "Stella, you should not bother yourself any more about raising money for JAM application forms. I'll sponsor your children abroad on full scholarship. They deserve more than this city can give." Stella was surprised and could not easily digest the good news immediately. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything. Just raise your head and keep praying. I'm not that rich, but I believe in planting good seeds." Stella joyfully told her girls the good news. And they were excited and ran to Mr. Jacob's shop to thank him for his volunteering to see them through school abroad. "My daughters, you don't need to thank me. Your mother is a very hard-working woman, who raised you two to these beautiful, brilliant young girls. It is time someone helped her. All I need from you both is to focus on your studies while on scholarship. And always remember your root." They both responded, "We won't disappoint you, sir. God will bless you richly." At the appointed time, they at the airport and left the shores of Nigeria to study abroad. A few years later, two elegant young women stepped into Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Mary, now a certified pharmacist. Martha, a medical doctor. After the first few years of their studies abroad, they stayed back a little longer and worked for a few years more before returning to Nigeria. They came home and surprised their mother in the market where she sold fruits and veggies, now older, but still radiant in love and hope. "Mama, your suffering ends today," they both said. "From today, Mama, you serve no one again," Martha said. "You are now the queen of our world," Mary added. They took Stella to a new mansion and handed her the keys. They also gifted her a brand new SUV with a personal driver. Stella later accompanied Mary and Martha to pay homage to Mr. Jacob, who they regarded as their father. Mr. Jacob was over the moon when he set his eyes on them, and in appreciation of his kind gesture towards them, Mary and Martha transferred a huge sum of money to him that turned his finances around. They established a hospital called M Square Hospital, a cutting-edge medical center where no pregnant woman was rejected. They shared free medications to the poor every month, provided free maternity care to indigent women and ran free child immunization drives. They equally opened a charity organization that took care of orphans and women who suffered similar fate like their mother did. Mr. Jacob was honored as their father, and he became the face of their charity. They remembered their root and where they came from, and they engraved a quote on the wall of the Charity Foundation building. "Fatherhood is not biology, but sacrifice." They also built a large restaurant for their mother, called Mama Stella's Kitchen, and employed over 20 staff. Stella, once homeless, now employed people and gave scholarships to orphans. While growing up, Mary and Martha noticed that Mr. Jacob, who was a widower, liked their mother a lot and never treated her as a common cleaner. They spoke to him about Stella living all her life for them while putting hers on hold. They inquired from Mr. Jacob if he had any feelings for their mother, who was still beautiful and radiant despite all she went through. To their surprise, Mr. Jacob was in love with their mother all along but was scared she might think he was taking advantage of her situation then, if he had asked her out. They finally succeeded in bringing Stella and Mr. Jacob together and they got married. It was a memorable event that brought joy and laughter to Mr. Jacob and Stella, who had already lost hope of ever being in love. One day, a sick elderly man was rushed into M Square Hospital. He had collapsed from internal bleeding and urgently needed a rare blood type. No match in the blood bank. But miraculously Mary and Martha were matches. Without hesitation, they donated their blood and stabilized him. When the man was discharged, he wanted to repay his hospital bill in bits, but they waved it off. Weeks later, the elderly man returned to thank them properly. As they sat telling the story of his lost fortune and a son who ruined him, Stella walked into the office. Her eyes widened in shock. "Chief Edmund?" The old man's face paled. Mary and Martha were puzzled. "Mama, you know him? This man, is your biological father." A stunned silence fell. "No, Mama. Mr. Jacob is our father," Martha insisted. "No, biologically, this man is, but he threw us away like trash." When they heard the full story, they were furious. "Leave our office," Mary said coldly. "We may have saved your life, but we owe you nothing else." Chief Edmund broke down. "Forgive me, please. I was blind." Mary spoke calmly. "Sir, we forgive you. But you are not part of our lives. Our father is Mr. Jacob, the man who believed in our mother." As fate would have it, Gloria entered the hospital to check on her husband and was surprised to see Stella. "Stella. I thought I'd lost you forever. What are you here for?" Gloria asked. "Where are my daughters? I know they are grown-ups now." "These are your daughters, standing right there," Stella pointed at Mary and Martha. Gloria cried. "Oh my goodness. They have all grown up." The twins hugged her. She was the only one from the past who had stood for them. They embraced her warmly. "Madam Gloria," Mary said. "You are the woman that helped our mother? You helped us. You're welcome here, anytime, any day. We own this hospital." Gloria couldn't believe her eyes. To show her love and support, Stella made Gloria a partner in her restaurant. And Gloria's 3 daughters were also employed at the restaurant. But Chief Edmund, old, broke, and living in regret, was left alone. His male heir, born later from another woman, had squandered all his wealth. The very son he yearned for destroyed his legacy. The daughters he threw away became his salvation. Ah, the irony of life. Sometimes, what we reject becomes what we need most. And what we cherish may lead to our ruin. Stella was thrown out for giving birth to girls. But in the end, those same girls built an empire. So before you judge, before you reject, before you hurt, remember, the future is not always written the way we expect. But life, as they say, has a way of balancing itself. The daughters he abandoned years ago became his hope. The stone that the builders rejected became the cornerstone. She was thrown out and abandoned for giving birth to twin girls. But years later, those very girls became the reason her name would never be forgotten. Let no one despise your beginning. For from the dust, God raises kings. This is not just a story. This is a life lesson. If it touched you, then share it. Let someone else find light in these words. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Because here on African Tales by Bro Divine, every story comes with fire, wisdom, and truth. Until the next tale, remain blessed, and be careful what you discard. Today's trash might become tomorrow's treasure. For in the game of destiny, God always has the final say.